Is that right? Okay, I think you should all be able to all see and hear me now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar today. How are you all? I hope you've all managed to have a wonderful week. It's been a couple of days since the last webinar. Have you all managed to have a good weekend? Has anyone managed to do anything interesting this weekend? Or have a productive weekend, achieve anything? Morning, Shaman, how are you? Hi, Nancy, thank you for joining. So hopefully you can all see me. So today's topic, we're doing the last webinar on the travel and transport and different countries topic. So from next Tuesday, we will be doing a different topic. And that will be a group of webinars that will be in the same topic. So today, after all the vocabulary that we've done to do with transport and travel, we're going to finish with idioms to do with travel and transport. So idioms are useful because they are conversational phrases, phrases that you can use in day-to-day conversation that will help you sound fluent. So Pratik, we're doing phrases to do with travel and transport. So idioms are phrases that have an extra meaning to them. Great, Shaman, I'm good as well, thank you. So idioms have an extra meaning to them. They're not just the words that we see in front of us, they have another meaning. So when you use them in a conversation, a fluent English speaker will know what you mean when you use these phrases, and you will often hear them or see them written when you're doing lots of English. So it's a good place to start if you want to do conversational English. So this is going to help you sound very fluent and will help you understand if you're watching in English. So idioms are the phrases that most often confuse new learners of a language. So new learners of English would find idioms very difficult because unless you learn what the extra meaning of this phrase is, you might misunderstand. You might misunderstand the meaning. That's why idioms are so important to learn when you're learning the language, because very often you won't know unless you've learned it. And they're very commonly used. So a fluent speaker will just use them and assume that the other person knows what they're talking about. So that is what our topic for today is going to be. It's going to be on the idioms to do with travel and transport. So lots of you are following, that's great. Thank you, Papri, for following me. So you need to be able to follow in order to write in the chat. And as I always say, please write in the chat. I want you to get involved and get interactive. Okay. So lots of you joining. Great to see you back, Shaman. Thank you for joining. Hi, Shyam. It's great that you're back in the webinar. I'm good. How are you? Hi, Shanae. Okay. Yes, Pratik, if you have any questions, please ask. Okay, yeah. So we're going to start looking at these. So let's have a first think about what idioms are. I've used them before in previous webinars. We talked about idioms. They're always useful to learn. So we're going to think about phrases that have an extra meaning to them. So idioms are phrases that have an extra meaning to them. So they don't only have the meaning of the words, they have an extra meaning. So we're going to talk about that extra meaning. So that's going to help you understand. Welcome back, Anusri. Great, Stylish Arjun. Thank you for joining the class. It's great to have you here. Hi, Amu. So lots of you are new, which is great. So please follow me. My webinars are usually on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. Okay, so let's look at our first travel idiom or phrase, and that will help you understand what I mean. Okay. So these are the first ones we're going to look at. They have similar meanings, So the first one is right up my alley, right up my alley. We're not talking about a physical alley, a lane, right up my alley. There's another meaning for that phrase. The meaning behind that phrase, if somebody says that is right up my alley, so if you see those words together, somebody is not talking about a road or a path. They are talking about right up my alley, the phrase, the idiom, we say, the idiom. So the meaning of that idiom, right up my alley, means it's something that you really like, something that you wanted or appeals to you strongly, something that's suited to you. So you could say, that movie looks like it's right up my alley. I'd love to go and see it. I'd love to go and see it. So if you watched the webinars last week, Pratik, I'll answer your question. So we talked about the word genre. The genre means the type of movies, type of books. So if you have a genre that you like, maybe you like romantic movies or rom-coms, which are romantic comedies. So a rom-com is a romantic comedy. It's a shortened way of saying a romantic comedy. So if you are a fan of romantic comedies, if you really like romantic comedies, you might say that movie is a rom-com. So it's right up my alley. Just the sort of film or just the type of film I enjoy. So if you say something is right up your alley, it's something that you really enjoy or that appeals to you, the type of thing that you would, I'm not sure what's happening. So it's the type of thing that you would want to use anyway. So that's right up my alley. So that's an example of an idiom. It's a phrase which has an extra meaning to it. So not just the meaning that might seem obvious at first. It's not just the meaning of being up an alley or up a place that's a path or a type of road. We have that extra meaning. So we're thinking about these phrases, these idioms that have travel or transport words. So the vocabulary that we looked at up until now. Okay, Pratik, I'll try and make the words a bit bigger. I'm great, Dipshika, how are you? Okay, so I will try and type it out so the screen is a bit bigger for you. Okay, so we had the question, what is a rom-com? Rom-com. Okay. So rom-com, yes, a rom-com is a romantic comedy. It's not Romeo and Juliet because Romeo and Juliet is a tragedy, we say. A tragedy means there is a sad ending or a sad event in the film or in the book. You can have a tragedy book or tragedy film. It's the genre. So Romeo and Juliet is actually a tragedy because they both die at the end. So it's a tragedy. Tragedy is something that's very sad, very terrible. So Romeo and Juliet is not a rom-com. Rom-coms are romantic comedies. So films where there is a romance, but it's also funny. We say it's funny if it's a comedy, a rom-com. rom-com. There's many great rom-com films. If anybody has any examples that they can think of good films, write it in the chat and I'll let you know if that's an example of a rom-com or not, if it's something I've seen. Okay, so that's right up my alley. We use that to say, hi Hamdar. So I will retype the words if it's difficult for you to see. So the phrase or the idiom is right up my alley. It's right up my alley. So you can say soccer or football is right up my alley. It's just the kind of sport I like. I love watching rom-coms. Rom-coms are right up my alley. It's the kind of film I would want to see. So it's a way of explaining that something is a type of thing that appeals to you or that you like. So we use this phrase, right up my alley. Okay, let's look at another one. So if there are any questions, let me know. The next one is whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. It's a way of explaining to somebody whatever you enjoy, whatever makes you happy is another way of phrasing that. Whatever floats your boat. So we're not talking about actual boats. It's not boats. It has the word boat in it, which is why it's part of today's topic. But it's not about boats. The phrase has an extra meaning. That's why it's an idiom. There is another meaning. It's not about boats. So you can use it instead of whatever makes you happy. So you might hear it if you watch films. Whatever floats your boat. So it means whatever makes you happy. So the word float, to float, is the verb we use to explain when something is on the water. It's the opposite of sinking. It's not sinking through the water, it's floating. It's on top of the water. So we use it for boats or anything that's in the water. So it's whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. So you can say, somebody can say to you, oh, I'm not sure what to do. Should I study something I want to do, or should I study something that is going to be useful? What do you think? Oh, I think whatever floats your boat, whatever you enjoy, whatever you think, whatever makes you happy. So you could use it like that, or you could use it like saying if somebody gives you an option. So someone gives you an option and you don't mind what the other person chooses. So somebody can say to you, shall we eat in or get a takeaway? You can say to them, I don't mind, whatever floats your boat, whatever you're happy with. So somebody might say to you, where should we go for dinner? What kind of food should we eat? Do you have a choice? Do you have a preference? And say, I don't mind, whatever floats your boat. Whatever floats your boat. Whatever you want. Or you use it when somebody might think that you're judging their choices. You say, no, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, that makes me happy. So are there any questions about that phrase? So you can use it to explain to somebody whatever makes you happy. Okay, we also had a question from Pratik, what does couch mean? What does couch mean? Yeah, a couch is a type of seat. So in the living room, I'm sat on a couch now. So this is a couch. It's a big chair that's longer than a chair. It usually sits more than one people. Usually has more than one person. It might be in the living room. And it's usually a type of soft material so that it's comfy, we say. So comfy means comfortable. Comfy is a shortened word of a way of saying comfortable. So Pratik, does that answer your question? Raghav says, what right up my alley means what? It means something that you like or that appeals to you. That thing is right up my alley. So when you're saying that is right up my alley, it means it's something that you like or appeals to you. Something. So you can say that film was right up my alley. It was just the kind of thing I like. So it's just the kind of thing I like. I love rom-coms. Or maybe it's an adventure film and there's action. It's adventure action. It's a superhero film. You can say that film is right up my alley. Right up my alley. So Pratik says it can be a bean bag. We don't usually think of a bean bag as a couch. A couch is bigger. A couch sits more than one person. A bean bag usually sits one person. So a bean bag is a type of chair, usually we say. A couch is bigger. Okay. So see if you can use these idioms in a sentence. What genre of film is right up your alley? What genre of film is right up your alley? Good evening, PK. So you can say adventure movies are right up my alley. Or you can say adventure books, comics. So it's a way of expressing that you really like something, that thing is something that really appeals to you. So are there any questions about that? Yeah, Raghav says update your app to get the screen clear. Yeah, update your app or refresh, log out and come back in. That will also help. Okay, great. So let's look at some more idioms, So here we have 3. To jump ship, to jump ship. So we're not talking about jumping. Excellent, Boani. Well done. Yeah. So Boani said, comedy movies are right up my alley. Excellent. Yeah, you can say that. Comedy movies are right up my alley. Excellent. Very good. Well done, Boani. Okay, so here we have 3 more idioms. We have jump ship. So we're not talking about an actual ship. So Papri sees, what does right up my alley mean? Right up my alley means it's something that appeals to me, I really like. That is right up my alley. I really like that. That is something that really appeals to me. So jump ship is another idiom. We're not actually talking about jumping from a ship. We're meaning that you leave something that you were doing, you abandon it. So you reject or abandon something, especially if you've been involved in it for a long time. So you're not going back. It suggests there's no chance of changing your mind or going back. So people often talk about jumping ship as leaving something. Raghav says, can we start sentences with if? Yes, you can. It depends on what the sentence is. It really depends. There's sentences which wouldn't work, but it depends what you're starting with. Okay. you could say if, so you give a condition. If the world were more peaceful, if the world were more peaceful, everyone would be happier. If the world were more peaceful, everyone would be happier. So you give a condition, it's hypothetical, something that isn't happening right now. If this happens, then that would happen. So you're giving a hypothetical situation, and then you're giving the cause. If the world were more peaceful, everyone would be happier. If I drank less caffeine, I would definitely be able to sleep better. So those are examples of sentences that begin with if. So I hope that answers your question, Pratik. Okay. So we're talking about this phrase jump ship. It also often means that sometimes people left to go somewhere else. So if there is news about a company going under, people might say that they jumped ship, they left the company. So if there's a scandal, the CEOs abandoned the company, they jumped ship. So you can say, here's an example. Once the movie was getting bad press. So we talk about bad press, bad news. So once the movie was getting bad press, the director decided to jump ship, and chose a different project or a different movie. So that's an example. So maybe things weren't going well and the movie was getting bad press, the director abandoned it. So it's to abandon something, to leave it, to reject it, to do something else. Decided to jump ship. So to leave it and abandon something. Those are the key words. So to jump ship means to leave something or abandon it. So we often think about it when it's a project or a company. It's often used in a work context, about work, or it can be used to explain when things were bad. We say people jumped ship, they left. Here's another example sentence. The tour didn't take place in the end because the main leader decided to jump ship, to leave. So you jump ship when you leave, when you abandon something. Does anyone have any questions on that? So the idiom actually comes from the moment people would jump ship. If a ship was sinking, so we say the ship was sinking, if there was an issue with the ship, if it was clear that it wasn't going to float anymore, that you were in danger of going down with the ship, drowning with the ship, people would jump ship, leave the ship. So it's a metaphor as well. We imagine people jumping the ship when they can see this project, this company, this thing isn't going to go well. They jump ship, they leave it. They leave it to sink. So that's where the idea comes from. So you can jump ship for anything. So it's to abandon and leave something, to reject it as well. So Wahana says, what is a meaning quantity? A meaning quantity. So if something has the meaning of explaining a quantity is the amount of something. So quantity is the amount of something, the amount of something. So how much or how many of something. So if something has a meaning quantity, the meaning tells us how much something has. Or the amount of something tells us how much, how many, or the amount of something. So Wahana, I hope that answered your question, did it? Yeah, so Bawani, you could say that when she was in trouble, all her friends jumped ship. They abandoned her, but we don't usually mean it for a person. We usually mean it for a project or a company or an organization. So if you want to say they abandoned someone, we would just use the word abandon. They abandoned her. When she was in trouble, all her friends abandoned her. Because the ship, the idea of the ship, it's a metaphor, it's an idea for a company or a project, a thing, not a person. Not a person. So you can talk about the friendship, the idea of the friendship. They jump ship from the friendship, but not from the person. I hope that makes sense. So we would say when she was in trouble, all her friends abandoned her, or use the jump ship for a company or a person. So we say it, to abandon it. So not a person, to leave something or to abandon it. Something, so not someone. So we don't use it when we're talking about someone. Good evening, Santosh. How are you? Great, Wahana. I'm glad that that answered your question. Does anyone else have any questions? So well done, Bawani, for using that in a sentence. Thank you. I'm very impressed. Okay. I'm great, Santosh. How are you? Okay, so we have another idiom, another phrase that has an extra meaning. This phrase is train of thought, train of thought. Nice to meet you, Santosh, too. So train of thought. A train of thought describes your thoughts, how clear they are, how logical they are, the order that they're happening in. So the sequence of thoughts in your mind, it describes the sequence of thoughts in your mind. So you can say, my train of thought got interrupted. My train of thought was interrupted, or I completely lost my train of thought when the phone rang. I completely lost my train of thought when the phone rang. So you can say, my train of thought was interrupted. So it's that you were thinking about something and somebody interrupted you and then you couldn't remember. And now I can't remember what I was thinking. Now I can't remember what I was thinking. So you can talk about it being interrupted, or you can say, I lost my train of thought. I lost my train of thought. So maybe you were focusing, you were trying to think about something, you were planning something and something interrupted you. There was a loud noise and you forgot. You had an idea and then something interrupted you and you thought, oh, I lost my train of thought. What was I thinking? I can't remember what I was thinking. I can't remember what I was going to think next, what my next thought was going to be. Or if you're talking, you can also use train of thought. So if you're trying to explain something to someone and you're talking to them and you're explaining something and you forget what you were saying and what you wanted to say next, you would say, oh, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Where was I? What was I saying? So you might be saying, You might be explaining something to someone. Great, Bwani. So you might say my train of thought stops whenever you see somebody, but it's more that they interrupt it. So one person might not do it. You could say my train of thought stops whenever I hear a loud noise, but usually you say I lost my train of thought or my train of thought was interrupted. So those are the two main phrases that we use it with. I lost my train of thought, or my train of thought was interrupted. So if you forget what you were saying when you're trying to explain something to someone, you might say, oh, I lost my train of thought. I can't remember what I wanted to say. I don't remember what I wanted to say next. So it's the motion of thinking about something or speaking about something and having the next thing, knowing the next thing is your train of thought. If you have a train of thought, you know what you're saying now, you know what you're going to say next and after that and after that. But if you lose your train of thought or your train of thought is interrupted, you don't know what's going to come next. You don't know what you're going to say next, write next, think next. So have any of you ever had a moment, a time when your train of thought was interrupted or when you lost your train of thought? Was there a time when you were speaking, giving a speech, giving a talk, giving a work presentation, and you lost your train of thought? That time when you can't remember and you suddenly forget, you get distracted. Something distracts you. Has that ever happened to you? Have any of you ever lost your train of thought? Or has there been a time when your train of thought was interrupted? It's very common. Has anyone ever had that or seen it happen to somebody else? Has anyone ever been in a lecture or in a tutorial or had a teacher who's trying to explain something to you and then they say, oh, I can't remember what I was going to say next. What had I just said? Has that ever happened to you? Has that ever happened to anyone? Yeah. Excellent, Bawani. So you can say, while taking class, my kids distract me and I often lose my train of thought. You can say, I often lose my train of thought when the kids distract me. My train of thought stops. Excellent, Bawani. Great. Excellent. Very good. Okay, so Wahano said, what is the meaning of destination? Destination. So destination is the place that you want to get to. Destination, the place you're trying to go to, the place you want to get to. The place, so it's usually the end place, the final place where you stop, the final place you want to get to on a journey. So you might be traveling and you might stop at lots of different places. Your destination is the place that you're going to. You can talk about your final destination. That's the final place you get to. The destination is the place that you're going to. The place that you're going to. Okay, so it could be a final place or it could just be the place that you're going to on a journey. So anywhere that you stop. It's a stop, it's a destination. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Wahana. Okay, so we've looked at jump ship, to leave something or abandon it, a train of thought, the idea that expresses the idea of the order of our thoughts and how we can keep track of them. We say keep track, see what's going to happen next, what we want to think next or say next. This other one is step up a gear, step up a gear. If you step up a gear, it means that you're increasing the level, the difficulty, the ability of something. So step it up a gear. So when you want to improve something to a higher level, we say. So when something goes to a higher or a better level. So you might say to somebody, you need to step it up a gear. Your work needs to improve. You need to improve the level of your work. Somebody might say that to you. You need to step it up a gear. Step up a gear. If you do sports and you have a coach, they might say to you, you need to step it up a gear. You need to improve your training. You need to work harder. You need to be better. You need to be faster. You need to step it up a gear. So it's putting it in a more intense mode. You're in a more intense, hardworking mode. Here's a more relaxed example. You need to step it up a gear if you want to get dinner ready in time. So you need to work harder. You need to work faster. You need to work better if you're making the dinner. You need to step it up a gear. Right now, you're too slow. You're too relaxed. It's not going to happen in time. So are there any questions about that? Excellent, Bawani. Yeah. We say to clear or to pass the exam. We say to pass the exam. To pass the exam, you have to step up a gear. Or you can say step it up a gear. You have to step up a gear. You have to step it up a gear. You can say your work needs to improve. And you need to work harder. Excellent, Bawani. Yeah, so to pass the exam, to clear it, you need to work harder. Are there any questions about that? I'm good, Rahini. How are you? Hi, Ahmed. Hi, Manpreet. Welcome back. Hi, Afran. So how are you all today? Are there any questions about that vocabulary, about those phrases, those idioms? Okay, great. Let's look at some more. So Sayal's just joined, Subrajit's just joined, Ranjan's just joined, Asif's just joined, Venkana's just joined. So for those of you that just joined, we're talking about idioms, phrases that have an extra meaning. You need to learn the meaning because you can't understand the meaning just from the words. You have to know what the extra meaning is so that you understand it and can use it. You can also learn the meaning from the context of the phrases, but for idioms, it's better to have a look at the meaning because you won't be able to tell it just from the words. You could have a guess, but that's why idioms are always a great way to increase your fluency when you want to learn a language. So it steps it up a gear when you're learning idioms. It increases your level. I'm great, Manpreet. How are you? Okay, so let's look at some more idioms. So Wahana says, what is the meaning of museum? A museum is a public place where they display items of importance and conserve and study them. So you can say an art museum is a type of museum that holds art. It can be famous art, traditional art, art that is culturally important. So they display items that have cultural importance. items of importance, of cultural importance. So a museum might have things from the past, ancient items that you can see so that you can learn about what life was like in the past. And they display them for the public to see. They give you information about them so you can learn about it. And they conserve. So that means they preserve, they look after. So to conserve something means to look after it. So you can be a conservationist. That's the person whose job it is to look after the items. They have to have understandings of chemistry to understand how the materials interact and affect one another. So I hope that answers your question. Disha says, what is the meaning of this chart? What is the meaning of this chart? A chart is a kind of map, but it doesn't have to always be, it doesn't always have to be accurate. It doesn't have to just be a picture of the land. It has its own method of representing, of showing the map. And a chart often shows directions, things like that. So it also depends on the context, what kind of chart it is. There are many different kinds of charts. Wahana says study and old stories. Excellent, yeah. Okay, so let's look at some more idioms. Okay, so we've looked up right up my alley. For those of you that have just joined, right up my alley. I really like it. It's the perfect thing for me. It's right up my alley. That dress is right up my alley. It's just the kind of thing I want to wear to the party. I wanted something long. I wanted something that was light. I wanted something that was pink color. That pink dress was right up my alley. It was perfect. Whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy, whatever you enjoy, whatever is right for you. Okay. It's okay, Disha. You can always catch up as well and rewatch the webinar later. Then we had jump ship, to abandon something, to abandon a company. Hi, Aspirin. Do you have a question? So jump ship was to abandon something, to abandon a company, to reject it, to leave it. Then we had train of thoughts, the sequence of your thoughts and your thinking. Do you know what's going to happen next and what you're talking about now? If you lose your train of thought or your train of thought is interrupted, then you don't remember what to say next. Then we had the phrase to step up a gear, to improve the level. Hi, Azan. To improve the level, to increase the way that we're doing things, to make it better. So these are the phrases that we've looked at so far. So I want to test you. Here are some situations. Where would you use these idioms? So which idioms would you use in the following events? So out of the phrases we've already looked at, so we have them here. We have right up my alley, whatever floats your boat, train of thought, jump ship, step it up a gear. And Via says, what is the meaning of the London Eye? The London Eye is a type of, it's like a Ferris wheel, but it's enclosed. So it's covered and it allows you to see big distances. Great, Azan. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you found the class useful. Please watch my previous webinars on this topic because it is about the vocabulary we're using today. Okay. So the first question, so we have a quiz. Test your knowledge of what you know so far. So write in the chat your answer. So the first question, your friends ask you where you want to go, but you don't have a preference. So a preference is a choice that you want the most. So your friends ask you where you want to go out, but you don't really have a preference. What idiom can you use, what idiom could you use to explain that to your friends, to explain that you don't have a preference, to explain to them that they can choose? Is it 1, right up my alley? 2, whatever floats your boat? 3, train of thought? 4, jump ship? Or 5, step it up a gear? Okay, so remember, jump ship means you want to abandon something. So your friends ask you where you're going to, but you don't really have a preference. So a preference means a choice that you want the most. So you don't care. You don't care where they go. You are happy for them to choose. What phrase can you use to show that you are happy for them to choose where they go? Great. So I've seen one right answer so far. So thank you, Bawani, Shyam, Sumya, Tai, Rahini for guessing. It's difficult. So keep the answers coming. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds to think about it. So is it 1, right up my alley? 2, whatever floats your boat? 3, train of thought? 4, jump ship? Or step it up a gear? So you want to tell the other person or your friends, the other people, that you don't care. They can choose whatever makes them happy. Whatever makes them happy. So you want to say to them, whatever makes you happy, you decide where we go out. I don't care. I don't have a preference. I don't mind where we go out. So Prabhi says, you are English. Yes, I am English, Prabhi. Okay, so what do you think? So the answer is 2, whatever floats your boat. So excellent. Sumya got that right. Excellent. Well done. Well done, Sumya. Whatever floats your boat. Yeah. Excellent. So you would say to them, I don't care where we go out. There's nothing that I want to do most. I don't have a choice that I care the most about. I don't have a preference. I'm happy to go anywhere. I'm happy to go out anywhere. I want to go wherever you want to go. Whatever makes you happy, you decide. Whatever floats your boat, you choose. So that is the phrase that you would use there. Whatever floats your boat. Excellent. So well done, Simya. You're the only person to get that correct. So well done. Okay, so let's have a look at the next one. So this is another scenario, we say, another situation. Rahini says, from which country do you belong? So I'm from England. So if you watched my webinar 2 weeks ago, you will see we talked about how to say that, how to talk about which country do you belong. You can say, where are you from? Where are you from? And I would say, I'm from England. I'm English. I'm English and I'm from England. Thank you for that, Rahini. Okay, so that's the nationality. When we talk about nationality, when we want to find out where somebody's from, where they have citizenship, what is the country that they call home. Okay, so let's look at the next scenario, So number 2, your boss has suddenly announced they are leaving the company. Your boss has suddenly announced they are leaving the company. What phrase could you use to explain that your boss has announced they are suddenly leaving the company? How could you describe their action? What are they doing? Are they 1, right up my alley? Are they 2, whatever floats your boat? Are they 3, train of thought? Are they 4, jump ship? Are they 5, step it up a gear? So which is it? Which is it? What do you think? So your boss has suddenly announced they're leaving the company. So they've decided to leave. They are abandoning the company. They're rejecting it. They're not coming back. And it's a sudden thing. So the more sudden something is, the more it is a rejection because it's not decided. It's not something overnight. It's a surprise. So that it's more of an abandonment because they haven't prepared everyone. So your boss has suddenly announced they're leaving the company. Everyone's unprepared. So what is the boss doing? Does anyone know? Is the boss right up my alleying? Is the boss whatever floats your boating? Is the boss train of thoughting? Is the boss jumping ship? Or is the boss stepping it up a gear? What is the boss doing? Tisha says, what can I do to speak English fluently? Practice, practice, practice. Practice whenever you can. Practice writing, practice reading, practice listening, practice speaking, and listen as much as you can. Watch English TV or news, watch the webinars, practice, and speak English whenever you can. So even if it is to other people who are not fluent or native speakers, as long as you're speaking English, you're still practicing being fluent. Excellent. So I'm going to tell you the answer in 10 seconds. So the answer to number 2. Your boss has suddenly announced they are leaving the company. What idiom can describe or explain what the boss is doing? Is it 1, right up my alley, 2, whatever floats your boat, 3, train of thought, 4, jump ship, 5, step it up again? What do you think? So yes, the answer is 4, jump ship. We can say the boss is jumping ship. The boss is jumping ship. You can say the boss is leaving the company. Leaving the company suddenly. He is jumping ship. He is jumping ship. Excellent. Well done, Bawani. Okay. So what about for number 3? Number 3. So you have got a lot of homework you need to catch up on and you are falling behind. You have got a lot of homework you need to catch up on and you are falling behind. Hi, Manvir. So what phrase can we use to describe the situation? What phrase, what idiom is most right, most appropriate for this situation where you have got a lot of homework you need to catch up on and you are falling behind? Falling behind means that you have a lot of work to do. You're not on top of the work, we say. So to fall behind means to not be on top of the work. To still have lots of work to do. Excellent, lots of right answers coming through. So I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to think about it. So you've got a lot of homework you need to catch up on. You're falling behind. What idiom can describe this situation the best? Hello, Sidish, how are you? Yeah, excellent. Well done, Bawani. Yes, it's to step it up a gear. You can say, I need to step it up a gear and get on top of my work. I need to step it up a gear to get on top of my work, or step it up a gear so that don't fall behind, so I can catch up. So I need to step it up a gear. I need to work harder. I need to work more. I'm falling out. Poppy says, when is class over? Usually around 4:30, but if people have questions, I will answer them afterwards. Yeah. Okay. So number 4, we have this situation. You see a book in a shop that your mother will really enjoy. You think she'll really like it. what other phrase, what idiom can we use to explain that your mother will really enjoy this book? That it's suitable for her. It's exactly the kind of book or the kind of genre that she would like. So lots of you joining. For those of you that have just joined, please follow me so that you can write in the chat. We are doing a quiz to test your understanding of these idioms, these phrases that we've learned. Disha says, how can I develop my speaking skills? By practicing. The more you practice, that improves your fluency. By practicing accurate. Bye, Prapri. Thank you for joining. Join on Tuesday, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. That will be the next webinar. Hope to see you then. So practicing will improve your fluency. Reading and understanding grammar and understanding phrases will improve your accuracy. So when you want to improve your speaking skills, we focus on fluency. That's how quickly and how easily you can express yourself. Accuracy is how correct your grammar is. So those are the two things. So you can practice fluency by speaking as much as you can, and accuracy by learning more things and understanding it better. So speak with other people in English to improve your fluency, and learn and study more to improve your accuracy. So these webinars should help as well. Okay, so what is the answer to number 4? Is it 1, right up my alley? 2, whatever floats your boat? Is it 3, Train of Thought? Is the book that her mother likes Train of Thought? Is it 4, Jump Ship? Is it 5, Step It Up a Gear? What do you think? So I've seen lots of right answers. Excellent, it's right up my alley. Well done, Simia, lots of correct answers. Right up my alley, yeah. But we don't say my alley, we say her alley, because it is the mother. So Bawani, I'll answer your question soon. We say that book will be right up her alley, right up her alley. So we keep the preposition, we keep the pronoun to be correct. We change it. You don't need to keep the phrase, my. So that book will be right up her alley. I know she will love it. I know she will love it. That book will be right up her alley. Excellent. So the last one, the best man at a wedding stops halfway through his speech. The best man at a wedding stops halfway through his speech. So a best man is the person chosen, usually by the groom. It's a male, that's why it's the best man. It is actually the best man. The man who the groom, the person getting married, chooses to help him, his best male friend. So we say the best man is the groom's best male friend. The groom chooses a best man to help him with the wedding. So the best man at a wedding stops halfway through his speech. What's happened to him? What has he lost? Has he lost his right up my alley? Has he lost his boat, whatever floats his boat? Has he lost his train of thought? Has he lost his jump ship? Has he lost his 5, Step It Up a Gear? Great, Rahini. I'm glad that this webinar has been useful. So my webinars are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. So please join. I do different topics. Every 2 weeks, I change the broad topic. Every webinar is different. I start off easy and get more difficult every 2 weeks. On Sundays, I try and do conversational English, idioms, things that are going to help you improve your fluency, your ability to express ideas in English, to be more fluent. And I always take on board suggestions or things that you want in the webinars. You can suggest topics for next week as well. So we do lots of different topics because I'm interested in lots of different things and I want to help you as broadly as possible. Excellent, excellent. Lots of right answers. Yeah, the answer is 3 train of thought. So we can say the best man lost. It's in the past, so we use the past tense. The best man lost his train of thought. Or we can say the best man's train of thought was interrupted while giving his speech. But to lose train of thought is the best way to explain that. So the best man lost his train of thought. The best man lost his train of thought. We can say while giving the speech or during his speech. Excellent. So well done, everyone. You have used very difficult idioms to express yourself and express difficult ideas. So this will help you express yourself in English, be more fluent, understand conversational English better. You will hear these phrases used a lot, especially if you watch TV shows, British TV shows, American TV shows. So that will help. Does anyone have any questions about anything that we've looked at so far? Excellent. So I did have more idioms to show you, to go through, but we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to leave these on the board if you want to look at them. And I will talk about them for a few minutes to give anyone the chance, the time, the opportunity to think about if you have any questions before we end the webinar. So thank you so much to everyone for joining. So Azan, my class is almost daily. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sundays. So it's only not on Monday, Friday, and Saturday, but every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Bonnie says, any best comedy show for conversation? So lots of people I know in Korea, Friends is very popular for learning English. I know it's popular around the world. Comedy is a great way to test your English skills, to step it up a gear, because you have to test your understanding of the situation and be able to understand the comedy, the extra layer. Why is it funny? So that really steps it up a gear. It's really a higher level when you watch comedy. So Friends is good because it's not complicated. It's clear language. There's not too many characters, so it helps. Thank you, Wahana. And it's very common. Lots of people watch it. So it's easy to find. And then I would say, otherwise, what you watch depends on what's up your alley, depends on what you enjoy, the type of genre that you enjoy. So it depends what you like. I say for comedy, Friends is good because there are few characters, not too many characters, and that always helps. Otherwise, for Disha, I don't know what's up your alley. I don't know what genres you like, what things you like. That depends. Thank you, Azan. Thank you for joining. So please join on Tuesday. So that will be on the 9th of March, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. Thank you, Azan. So does anyone else have any other questions? So the two idioms we have here are to be in the same boat, like ships that pass in the night. To be in the same boat is a very, very, very common idiom. You'll see this a lot. So it means that you're in the same situation as somebody else. To be in the same situation. So you can say we are all in the same boat with the pandemic. We're all in the same situation. We're all going through a pandemic right now. Okay, great. So I can see there aren't any other questions. So thank you so much to everyone for joining. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the Sunday, and I hope it's productive and useful, and that you have a wonderful start to the week tomorrow. And I hope to see you all on Tuesday, 7 p.m. India Standard Time. Good luck with your learning. Good luck with everything that you're trying to do. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.